Are you looking to grow your dental practice and attract top-tier new patients? Discover the potential of digital marketing with a personalized strategy session. Join Lila Stone, the marketing director at Equa, for an exclusive 90-minute consultation. Lila and her team will dedicate 6 hours before your meeting to create a customized marketing plan specifically for your practice. This valuable opportunity is free of charge and comes with no commitments. Visit www.insuranceuntangledorg/MSM to schedule your meeting with Lila today. You'll also receive a free analysis report so you can start transforming your practice through the power of digital marketing.
You are now listening to another episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast, where we explore the various challenges faced by dental practices due to their reliance on insurance. Join us in this podcast as we dive deep into the issues surrounding dental insurance dependence and offer practical solutions and strategies to help you take control of your practice's financial future.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast. My name is Ben Tuine, and I'm one of the co-hosts of this podcast. And as you know, we've sort of created this podcast to help practices that are tangled up with insurance. And we talk about all kinds of topics related to insurance and marketing in an effort to help our guests create bigger and a better, brighter future for you, your team members, and of course, your patients. Today, I have my co-host and good friend Naren with me today. We're going to be interviewing him about all things, well, very specific marketing concept that we want to talk about today. Naren, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having this conversation. I think we're going to have some fun today.
Absolutely. Well, when it comes to marketing, this is sort of a hot topic these days. We just survived September 2025, and the economic outlook for some practices doesn't look any better for October. And that's not a doom and gloom thing. It's more, wanting to have a discussion around marketing in an effort to help practices not experience a September, or any slow season. So what I want to talk about today, or at least interview today, Naren, is 3 marketing things that practices should know. So the very first question I have for you is that very few practices are truly saying, man, I am killing it with my marketing. Why do you think that is in terms of like a small handful of practices across the country that could say that they're doing so well with marketing while the majority are not? Why is that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Ben. And I really think the reason people are struggling, there's a few reasons. I'll just talk about the top things that just come to mind. Number one is they don't know the cost of a new patient from the different marketing things they're doing. So if you don't know, let's say you're going to buy groceries, if you don't know that, beef costs you, I don't know, $20, a certain kind of beef costs you $20 a pound or, $10 a pound, you can't compare them, right? You need to know how much something costs you. Then you can look at the pros and cons. Okay, this might be better beef, but it's going to cost me twice as much. So you need to start comparing apples to apples. So for example, if you're getting a general dental patient, what's the cost of that general dental patient through marketing method 1, marketing method 2? Now you can decide, okay, I'm going to go to the place that's going to give me the best bang for my buck, right? Especially in tough times, it's really, really important to know. And the second thing I think is, to some level, marketing is like religion. You have to believe in it and you have to dig in. You can't just, try something and, try something else and then try something else and then try something else. It's like, imagine planting a tree and then before it grows, you just pull it out because you don't have the patience to wait for it to grow. You want to see if the roots are growing, and the only way you know the roots are growing is you pull it out. But by the time you pull it out, you kill all the roots, right? So kind of understanding how to think about marketing and then sticking with it, I think that's like the second mistake people make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting that you mentioned that. It's like, why disrupt something that's already working, something good,
Yeah.
So when it comes to this idea of effective marketing, like how would you define effective marketing in dentistry?
Yeah, obviously the options are Google Ads, social media ads, SEO, and organic social media, right? I'm just going to touch on, the free stuff, which is organic social media and SEO. Why am I touching on those? They are the best bang for your buck, right? Organic social media is you're getting traffic from TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram, right? In a nutshell. Now, this cannot be outsourced, regardless of what everybody tells you. To do well with this, you have to do it yourself. Think of it like this, right? Can Oprah outsource Oprah? In other words, can she get a body double to be Oprah and Oprah collects all the checks? It doesn't work that way, right? Oprah is the face. Oprah is the one that the clients fall in love with, and she's the one whose recommendation they listen to and do everything she tells them to do, which is why she's worth $2.5 billion, right? You can't outsource it. So what I noticed is in our dental client base, 1% of the practices or practice owners want to be like Oprah, meaning they want to be celebrities. They want to put themselves out there. Just like Oprah, they want to create a lot of content. And just like Oprah, they want to be the face of that content and, that's where the starting point is. So unless you are committed that way, unless you're willing to give yourself 15 to 20 hours a week and really stick with it, organic social media won't work for you. So typically the people who like being influencers and who are willing to wait 2 to 3 years, put 15 plus hours in becoming that celebrity or influencer, you should definitely pursue organic social media. The other best option is SEO. SEO, the advantage is somebody else can do it for you, but the disadvantage is it's not quick. Just like organic social media is not quick. It takes time for you to become an influencer. SEO, it takes time. It takes a year with an amazing team working really, really hard for you to get into the top 5% that gets 95% of the free traffic. But if you're willing to wait and if you know what to do and make sure those things are happening, then you can get into the top 5%. So in my mind, SEO is the clear choice because it applies to all of you, meaning you don't have to be an influencer type to do well with SEO. As long as you get the right marketing company and you do the right things, you should be able to get into the top 5% of practices that get 95% of the free traffic from Google.
Yeah, that's interesting. You covered several different options as it pertains to marketing strategies for dental practices. As a practice owner, when I'm sitting down to consider different marketing strategies, right? Can you sort of explain, like from a selection process, good, better, and best from when we're talking about the amount of money that you spend on marketing compared to results, right? When you have all these options available to you as a dentist, what would be your opinion as a professional marketer on how to properly assess marketing options?
Yeah, so SEO versus social media, free social media versus Google Ads versus social media ads, right? SEO and both types of ads, anybody can do it, right? So organic social media, like I established, if you are in the 1% who wants to be an influencer and you're willing to put the time to become an influencer, how do you know you're an influencer? You have 100,000 followers. So if you're willing to put in the effort to get there and you're willing to create the content to get there, then definitely I would take that path. But 99% of my clients don't want to be in that just because that's not who they are. So your three options are SEO, Google Ads, and social media ads. And if you were to rank based on cost, meaning how much does each new patient cost, SEO is the best. Next comes Google Ads, and finally comes Google social media ads. So that's the way to think about it. Now, there is a place for Google Ads and social media ads. Let's say you are a startup and you need a large number of patients very quickly just to kind of pay the bills. So you might say, okay, I'm going to invest that money, even though it's a lot more expensive, on Google Ads or social media ads to get those extra patients. So that's one way to do it, right? Because the other option is you buy a practice, which is not going to be cheap. You're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a practice. So instead of putting that money into buying a practice, you might say, okay, I got this nice location that somebody was struggling and I was able to pick it up for peanuts, meaning I spent like a little bit of money just to get a already set up office. Now I saved all this money in not buying the practice. So I'm going to take some of that savings and put it into ads to kind of get those patients to build up the practice pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's I always wondered in my mind when you kind of look at all the different variety of marketing options, as a person that markets to dentists, it's different than marketing as a dentist to the community, right? To get patients. So from a cost perspective, you mentioned that Google Ads and social media ads are more expensive than SEO. Why is that?
Yeah, the reason Google Ads are expensive is it's an ad versus SEO is free. And people don't go to Google to see Google Ads. They go to Google to see what the Google's opinion is. It's just like we don't watch a TV program to watch the ad. We watch the TV program to watch the TV program, right? So ads become a nuisance. So, and also it's not trusted because we know whoever is putting that ad is spending a lot of money to get us to look at that ad. So we immediately go in with doubt. So if I as a consumer is coming in with doubt, it's going to be a much harder climb. So the average person who comes from Google Ads, for example, will give you 15 seconds. The average person from SEO will give you 90 seconds, just based on one is an ad. So therefore they don't trust it, 15 seconds. The other one is not, they do trust you. So 90 seconds. Social media ads drops even further. It's only 5 seconds. Why? Because it's an ad, so it has the same disadvantage as Google Ads, but it has an additional disadvantage, which is that, social media is not something like we don't go to social media to look for anything. We don't go to social media to find a dentist, find a restaurant, find somebody to help us with our remodeling. We go to social media to veg out. So our purpose, our goal is to just relax, so we are, clicking through the news feed and watching video after video after video. And social media companies know what we like. So if I'm into a certain type of video, I'm going to see a lot of those videos. And all of a sudden an ad show, a dentist shows up. I don't even remember I clicked on it. So when I do end up on that website, I'm leaving that website very fast, which is why the average person only gives you 5 seconds. So it is a numbers game after all. But the downside of social media ads is, in addition to it being the most expensive, also you're going to have a lot of people no showing. So you have to get used to this idea of, okay, we book 10, we'll only get 3 people showing up. So, and you can't get upset by it. You have to be ready to deal with it. So as long as you understand and you work towards it, then I think social media ads could also be an option, even though it's more expensive and, a lot of no-shows.
Yeah. That's so it sounds like to me that no matter what form of advertising that you do, right, or where you're spending your marketing dollars, it's one thing for people to find you, and then it's an entirely different thing to influence people to pick you, right?
Right.
Can you speak to that? Like, how do you master? Let's start with the first one. How do you master the step of getting people to find you to begin with?
Yeah, the way to help people find you is, Google makes so much money from Google Ads, so they have every incentive not to give you free traffic, because if you're getting all the traffic you want for free, why would you pay Google any money, right? It's pretty common, it's common sense. So the way they stack the game is they want to make sure that 95% of you get no free traffic. So you have to give Google ad money, right? It's true for dental practices, true for any type of business. But the 4 to 5%, they are giving you free traffic, because without you, nobody will use Google. Imagine you go to Google and you don't see a single free listing, everything is an ad. You will stop using Google because it's just nothing more than ads. So most of us wade through the ads to see the organic stuff. It's just like, in the old days, we used to wade through those television commercials to see the program. So every 2 minutes there's a commercial. It's annoying, but we love that program. So we just take that annoyance. Same thing with Google Ads. So we wade through it. We immediately start scrolling down until we find the first organic result. That's, the SEO, right? Now, the way Google decides, Google is, even though they are rigging the game against you because they don't want you to get free traffic, but they are fair in the way they do it. So they tell you what they're doing and how they do it. Typically, there are 6 types of things they look at. And if those things you are doing, you are crushing it, meaning you're doing everything that Google wants you to do, then you're going to be in that top 5% that's getting 95% of the traffic. And usually, that's the case if you are ranking for 100 or more keywords. So what are those 6 things? It's NAP consistency, name, address, phone number consistency, original content. There's a huge hoopla around people using ChatGPT or other kinds of AI to write content, and Google started punishing those people. So again, you have to understand what Google is looking for. It has to be written by a human. It has to meet all its standards. Third one is quality backlinks. Who's linking to you? Are they good links or bad links, and so forth. And the fourth one is Google EAT. That's actually Google EEAT, which is again a set of standards. And then you have to follow up and you have to make sure that you do all those things. And the fifth one is Google Lighthouse score. So every single page gets a score, and you have to do really well in terms of having a high Lighthouse score page by page by page. Last but not least, number 6 is the quality and quantity and frequency of your reviews. So your Google reviews, you should at least try to get 10 reviews a month. These should be paragraph reviews. And if you're doing that consistently, then again, that will also help you. Now, with us, we can do everything except Google reviews. Google reviews, you have to do it. We'll give you the tools, but you know your patients, you can ask your patients to write the reviews. So that's kind of, how this whole thing works.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's certainly a game, a process, right, that you have to really master and do very well at.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems to me, based upon what I hear from you, is that about 5% of the sites they dominate Google from an SEO perspective, right? So what are your suggestions, or a few things that that you recommend dentists focus on to be one of those top 5 websites, right? To sort of dominate the Google SEO search engine and helping patients find you regardless of what they type into Google. What do you suggest here, Naren, on that?
Yeah, I would suggest, you need to know how you are doing with marketing. We talked about a map, right? Before you create a map, you need to know where you are right now and where you want to get to. Because if you don't know where you are right now, then the map is not going to be useful, right? So I recommend what I call a marketing strategy meeting. It's a $900 value. And the link is insuranceuntangled.com/MSM. Book that meeting, get a lay of the land. How are you doing with NAP? How are you doing with Lighthouse scores? How are you doing with all the things that's making the phone ring? And once you know where you stand, then our team will also give you a plan to help you dominate SEO, dominate Google, dominate marketing. So take your map, take your position on the map where you are, that's your current status, as well as the plan to get you where you want to get to, and then implement it. That's would be my secret. I mean, you listen to this podcast, 25 minutes or so. Now just book that meeting and make sure you have a custom plan that's going to help you make 2025 your best year yet. So your September doesn't repeat, the worst month doesn't repeat.
Yeah, it's interesting that when I talk to clients, most have seen a very slow 2024, but about 1% of them they never experience any down seasons, right? The Septembers don't exist for those kinds of practices. And the one thing that they point to is the roots of the marketing system that they've been growing for a number of years, right? And like what you said, when you pull a plant out, you pull the plant out to see how the roots are doing, and you just kill the plant, right?
Yeah.
So all that work you've done is gone, when you stop marketing programs like this. So it's that consistency that's important. So I appreciate you, Naren, for sharing some of your insights with us today from a professional marketing perspective. Always learn some great new things from you every single time we chat, and I'm very certain that our listeners appreciate you as well. So take advantage of the $900 marketing strategy meeting for free. And Naren's offering it complimentary. Visit insuranceuntangled.com/MSM. Thank you again, Naren, for being with us today and for imparting your knowledge. And I want to thank our listeners for joining us today on another amazing episode of the Insurance Untangled podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share this with friends on social media or forward it on any platform that you use, as well as give us some reviews. Your reviews will help other doctors find our content in an effort for us to sort of give back and help the community. Again, visit insuranceuntangled.com for upcoming webinars and episodes. But until we meet again, we hope you all have a wonderful and excellent, successful day.